my yard or at the farm for probably maybe 6 weeks. And it's been sitting flat like this on the ground. And I wanted to show you the reason you want to turn it up on its side. It's because if I can open it up, some of that's still going to be bright. Okay? You come up here and see that. If I pull that hay out of there, some of it's going to be bright. It's still going to be bright. That's not what you want to plant into, okay? You want to plant into something that's a lot darker. So here on the edge, which is a little looser, if I pull this up, you can see how dark that is. All right, but that's been sitting out. Like I said, it's been sitting out like this. But this is your cut side. You see these? How it's been cut off? This is the folding side. See how it's folded up? So you get a bale of hay, set it up on its side, just like that. Now, after this has been here, when I put these bales out, I'll probably bring a couple of stakes back and put them up for Jill. I'll try to help her take care of this. And we'll put a couple of stakes. That's to keep somebody from coming over and knocking them over. So we want to keep it like this. And then, when you get those fertilizers that I told you, I'm going to go ahead and use this. And it says easy opening. I don't know about that.
Nothing is anymore.
Maybe for something else. But this is a blended fertilizer. It's a 10-10-10, but in those instructions it says triple 13. This is what we're talking about. And then the nitrogen is probably going to be white. Okay, it's going to look white. But I'm going to take about this much. Eventually we'll put a cup on here. This is how we want to sprinkle the bale. I generally just dip a top off of a paint can. You know, anything I got that's easier to do this, and we sprinkle these bales. And that's all we want to do, is just sprinkle it evenly across. It's really easy. And that will, when it rains, that will dissolve. It'll go down into that bale. And in about 2 weeks from now, Jill, that'll be about a week from now, Jill, that'll be hot when you touch it. You get some rain to carry it in.
I got a question. You do a tomato plant in this.
Yeah.
It's half a bale. Do you only put one?
Okay,
plant?
so half a bale. I could probably cheat because it's a little bit more if I was doing it, because this is a half a bale. You said you wanted a bale.
I want this side.
You want this small
Because
bale.
I'm going to be moving.
Okay, I got some of that smaller. I have some of the others. But you could probably fudge and put, you want it, you know, I like my bale, I like about 2 feet between my tomato plants. But with this one, you could put one here and one here, and you'd probably have plenty of room, you know.
And it's going to stay up on that end when you plant it, right?
Yeah, you're going, when this is ready, you'll be able to pull that apart. And we'll just put that tomato plant down in between. These things are put up in blocks. If you could see how the way a hay baler works, it's blocks, and it'll come apart in a block. And you just pull it apart. For me, I use the easiest way I can get it down. Like I said, I use a manure fork, which is flat prong. I wish I'd have brought it with me. And I just stick it down here and pull it apart and put my plant in and then close it back up. You know. If it's good and dark, I don't worry about putting any potting soil or compost in. If it's not good and dark, I might put a handful in. I have plenty of compost, so don't worry.
You try to condition the soil underneath the bale?
No.
Take the branch up.
Because all of that is going down into the soil. The phosphorus and potassium here, most of that eventually will be in the ground. Okay. The nitrogen part, it's going to be, the bacteria is going to eat it up. And but the phosphorus and potassium in this 10-10-10 eventually will go to the ground.
So you're going to end up enriching the ground too, aren't
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Good weed, that's a good old bale.
sir.
So if she'll be able to grow good weed, that should be.
It'll be bare for a little while. But yes, it will. But y'all are welcome to come out to Wise Family Farm. We are not open every day, but you know, if there's somebody around, just stop. And pretty soon here, within about at the end of March, school field trips. We have about 2,000 booked between April and middle of May. And so we'll be there every day. If y'all want to come see what's going on Wise Family Farm, you're welcome to stop. You know, we love visitors.
Is the address on the sheet you
It's
gave
not
us?
on that sheet, but it's pretty easy to find. It's 291 Shady Grove Road, Pontotoc. But if you Google Wise Family Farm, we're gonna be one of the first ones at the top, and it'll have the address on it.
I have another question.
Yes,
How much is a bale, how much is a bale this size cost?
I charge for this bale of hay. I charge $4.
Okay, and the larger bale would be what size? A full bale?
Just a little bit, it'd be about like this, and I charge $4.
Okay, and how heavy are they? How heavy is this?
That's not that heavy. This had a little water in it because it had been sitting out, but that's gonna weigh probably 25 pounds, maybe at the most.
Okay.
If you
And
get
that's
a
the
hook,
reason-
you can pull it.
That's the
you
reason
don't have to
that's the
look.
reason we do this. You know, my significant other who does the decorations and handles that operation in the fall, she don't like to handle heavy bales, and so she asked me if we could get lighter bales, and I said I can cut them in half. She said that's perfect.
That's all I can
A question I have with fire ants business, it's a problem around here.
Oh, good
Do they
question.
build in top of that? And if so,
They
is
will
fire ant
build-
poison
they
an
will-
issue?
They will build in it,
Okay.
and you can use permethrin or any kind of an insecticide, or you can buy that granules, you know, and you put them across the top of there, and it'll take care of that problem.
And that's safe. for the
But I
bale.
can promise you, they probably will find this bell.
So go ahead and. I got fire.
We all got fire ants.
Yeah.
But if you pre-treat the bottom of the ground around it, it probably would
You can
help
treat
that.
the bottom of the ground, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
We can bale hay at home, okay? And let's just say we're busy, and we know it's not gonna rain, and we'll leave that bale laying out for 3 or 4 days on the ground before we can get around and pick it up. We're gonna have some fire ants that come up in that bale. They just love it. But it doesn't take much to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I have a question, Stanley. Can you do the granules after you've planted your tomatoes?
Sure.
Okay, it won't harm
No,
the
it won't harm
plant,
them.
of the
No.
plant, okay.
You're talking about for the fire ants?
Fire ant.
Yes. No, ma'am.
Some extension agencies say, I mean, there's certain ones you don't put on your food you're gonna eat. The
Well, there are
granules.
some, but I don't know of any that around here that are selling anything that will hurt your garden.
Yeah.
I think the bait is, you're not supposed to eat if you do the 4 season
The baits that we have here are the same as in a garden insecticide, unless it specifically says on the label, do
Don't
not use.
Okay.
If
So
it
just-
says do not use,
For
then don't
food.
use it.
Okay, for the food. So
But
many
I'm not an
days.
extension agent anymore, and I would tell you as an extension agent, read and follow the label directions. But Mr. Wise is gonna tell you, Farmer Wise is gonna tell you, that's not gonna hurt you.
Please read
They
labels.
take care of their own self, you know, and I don't blame them. I mean, that's just good business. But they will sell the same insecticide that's in that bait in a spray form that you can spray on your plants. I'd rather have it on the ground than have it on my plant if that's what you're worried about. You know, those baits are not what they call systemic, which means the plant's not going to take it up. Okay, it's not systemic.
Okay, can you use the granules on the ground and around it?
You
before
can,
You do it?
and I don't remember his name.
It's Tyler, yeah.
Tyler had a good point. Put it down before you put the
And
bale
that's
down.
as good as the spray, and that's as good as the spray.
It's as good or better than spray. Yes, ma'am. If you'll put granules out in your yard, you know, if you put them out Memorial Day, July the 4th, and Labor Day, you won't have to worry about fire ants about 3 times a year. Broadcasting on your yard, you won't have to worry about it until the next year. Well, you know, fire ants are somewhat beneficial. In crops, I mean, they are actually predators, and they will take out some bad insects, but they're hard, you know, they bite hard when they bite you. But they're really smart They actually, if you got an aphid problem, which aphids can give us a problem on some plants sometimes, well, they call them, they will tend aphids, which means like we tend cows. They will go get an aphid and put it on that plant, and pull these aphids, put it on the plant, so that aphid will feed and drop the honeydew, and they feed on the honey. They feed on the waste product of the aphid. They're smart.
Now, what did you say did that? Fire?
Fire.
I thought those were farmer ants.
Yeah.
The what now? Well, farmer ants?
Yeah.
I don't know about farmer ants.
There's another kind of them that do that, I guess.
Yeah, they,
Well, no, I mean, there's a different types of ant, you know, sugar ants or whatever. But I know that a fire ant is what they call an aphid. They call them a tender, which means like if we tend cattle or we tend sheep or we tend horses, they tend aphids. So they go pin them up on a plant. We deal with fire ants all the time at the farm. Basically, we don't, you know, if we have, I mean, you got to remember, we have all kinds of visitors that come on the farm, and they'll let us know real quick when there's a fire ant. And we'll take care of it. But on our bale of hay, I will tell you this, in my high tunnel, when we get the bales of hay, when we get ready to plant the tomatoes in them, we will take a sprayer, pump up sprayer, and we'll spray some insecticide on top of those bales so that we don't have to deal with that fire ant going down in that bale. Because my workers out there, they'll come up screaming. They'll put their hand down the bale.